Hello and welcome to the No Format Required podcast, the only podcast where we steal ideas from a previous podcast that we used to run and act as though it's going to be a brand new format on our new ones. And I'm calling this MACRL, Mike and Charlie's ranking lists.
Okay.
MACRL.
Like we did there. Macro or MACRL?
MACRL.
Like the
Mike
the
and
fish.
Charlie's, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But there's no E in it.
Oh, okay.
Or K. I don't know if there's a K in MACRL.
Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah. But it still spells MACRL.
Okay.
Mike and Charlie's ranking lists.
Yeah. Oh, very
You've
good.
made yourself very horizontal there.
I have, yeah. I just thought I couldn't do it on the last one as we were recording, so
Yeah, we're not recording this episode live if we've released the last one as a video recording.
Yeah.
We might not do when we're recording this. We don't know whether we have or not. But yeah, we're not recording this one because Charlie's phone's dying and also we've got our notes on our phone.
Yeah.
So yes, so we're going to be... Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Mike, for those who don't know, the uninitiated, and with me is Charlie.
Hello.
And this is the podcast where we talk shit, but today we're going to be doing our top fives, and the top fives we're doing today are our top 5 90s films.
I wanted to do originally. Mike asked me earlier what top 5 do you want to do, so I was like, oh, let's do crime documentaries, and he was like, well, I've not really watched many crime documentaries. And you know, when I sent it, I'd just started doing my list as well. I said, right, and there's a few there. I was like, oh, I'm going to rewatch that.
Well, give me time and I'll do something.
Yeah. You had 10 hours.
I had 10 hours. I told you what I did last week. How busy I was.
No, well, yeah, we'll do that again. To be honest, I'd probably, looking at them, I like to rewatch them and just get a view to remember what happened.
That's the only thing. There's one film on here that I would have liked to have rewatched just to remind myself.
Yeah.
But the others, I'm fairly certain. But that's what I like to do when I do the list. And if we do decide to do more of these, which I think we will, it's just another little format in the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll do it every month or so. It's just fun to rewatch them, and then you got them on a fresh mind, sort of thing.
Yeah. I know that was the thing. I was looking, so for this one, I just googled 90s films. So I was like, I just couldn't think of any off the top of my head. But then like you started going, thing started coming back to me, and I was thinking. After that, I was like, oh, I might have another look, but I thought, no, because I'm just going to be undecisive. I'm just going to keep adding films. But because at first I was like, so I'm
it's difficult. You got to go with your gut. You got to go with your gut.
Yeah, so I'm just moving the blind.
We'll wait a second.
But yeah, do you want to go first then?
Yeah, I can do.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to do top 5s. So my number 5 is a film called Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
I've only watched this a handful of times, and I've not watched it in some time.
Yeah.
Do you want me to wait until you've opened the window?
No, it's fine. Keep talking. Keep talking, I can do it.
So it's a film, biographical comedy film with Jim Carrey playing this guy called Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Andy Kaufman. Some people listening to this might know who Andy Kaufman is. He's an American comedian.
Okay. Jim Carrey's playing him?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a documentary that I want to watch on Netflix. I've not got around to it's called Me and Andy.
Okay.
And it's basically Jim Carrey went full method when playing Andy Kaufman. But Andy Kaufman basically is the most surreal comedian you'll ever see in your life. Like one of his first gigs, I think. Okay, I'm trying to remember the film. Unfortunately, I hadn't got time to rewatch this film.
Yeah.
But one of his first gigs, he just used to sit there and singing Mighty Mouse and stand there in silence. He'd like have a gramophone next to him. And then whenever the song cuts to here he is to save the day, like he'd just go really sort of bold with it and then just stand there in silence.
Oh, really?
Like really just bizarre. And his comedy, he created a character, or they say he created a character. I can't remember what his name is exactly off the top of my head. Got my notes here in front of me, and annoyingly, like I said, I can't remember it. Andy Kaufman.
I've never even heard of who he is. Like
he died of cancer.
Was he alive when Jim Carrey did the film?
No.
What was his era of?
Like this late 70s.
Oh, okay.
When did he die?
No, I've never heard of him.
Died in 1984, so quite.
Oh, okay.
And his years active were 1971 to 1984. But he had this like outlandish character that he'd like appear on stage in. It wasn't like he was fully prosthetic up, but like no one really knew what the same character, because sometimes he'd appear alongside Andy Kaufman. It'd be someone else like portraying this character. And then he appeared at the end after he died of cancer. He'd like appeared on stage again and stuff. It's like, but that was Andy Kaufman just doing a bit.
Yeah.
And it's just his whole comedy thing seems to be about entertaining himself. Like there was this famous thing that he did. He got wrestling and he refused to fight men because he'd always be able to, he'd never win. But he only fought women. And there was like this big thing like he'd do like professional wrestling acts, but only fighting women just so he'd win.
Yeah.
Just absolutely surreal, like bizarre comedian, but it's really entertaining to see. Like he did a TV show called Taxi with Christopher Lloyd and Danny DeVito.
Yeah, it's like setting a taxi rank in Chicago or something.
That's the one. So he was in that, but he used to get in arguments with that because he'd just turn up.
Yeah.
He was a weird guy, and it was just, but it really entertaining film. Like one of the last things in the film, which I've learned since, is 100% true in terms of he did it 5 years prior. So he was diagnosed with cancer, and in the film they portrayed this as like one of the last things he did, but actually it was 5 years before he was diagnosed.
Yeah.
But he did a sellout show in Carnegie Hall, massive music hall venue in America, and afterwards he basically had hired a load of minibuses and took everyone for milk and cookies afterwards.
Oh, really?
Just absolutely
really
surreal.
random.
But yeah, just a really surreal comedian, and Jim Carrey portrays it perfectly.
Yeah.
The song "Man on the Moon" by REM.
Yeah, they put a man on the moon. Yeah.
The space. Well, no. The in terms of the song by REM, it talks about.
Yeah, so that's the song goes over. They put a man on the moon.
Yeah, but if you listen to the lyrics, it talks about Andy Kaufman.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Oh.
So that's my first one.
Okay. Very good. We're not doing these in like rank. We're just picking.
Oh, I put mine in order of my top 5.
Oh, have you? Oh, I've not done that. I'll quickly do that. Actually, yeah, that's fun. So my film I've picked next one, my first one, Three Kings with
George Clooney.
Yeah,
Never watched it.
Ice Cube, Mark Wahlberg, and George Clooney. There's 2 reasons I picked it. One, because I did enjoy it; it was a good film, and 2, it was the first DVD that we ever bought.
Oh, well, that's funny you were going to say that.
Yeah. Well, I say I bought it. It was a 15. I think it was my dad that bought it. But we bought a DVD player, and was like, well, we had no DVDs to watch on it, so an old shop that's now closed down. We bought that. So, but yeah, it's set in the first. Yeah, it would be the first Gulf War, and there are like American soldiers in Iraq. I think it is Iraq, and. Yeah, basically one of them gets a thing of some gold. So they sort of, I think George Clooney's like this lieutenant colonel, and the other 2 are sort of like quite low ranking. They basically set on this like exhibition to basically go and find this gold, but it's kind of not. It's not been sanctioned, but they're doing the gold for them kind of thing. But it's kind of a little bit of a comedy as well, but it's not a comedy. But yeah, it's like there's a few funny parts and stuff to it, and. It's just a good film. Really enjoyed it.
I've never watched it.
Yeah,
I've heard of it, and so I knew George Clooney was in it.
Yeah.
But didn't know it was Mark Wahlberg and
Ice Cube. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking after, I can't think of another film that Ice Cube had been in. Because he was a singer, wasn't he? Or rapper.
Ice Cube wasn't he in 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street?
I've never seen them.
What?
No, not seen them with Channing Tatum
and Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Oh my god, phenomenal.
I've seen clips.
Sorry, we're not talking about top 10 or top 5 2010 films.
Yeah.
But it's in that era, and they're both. The sequel shouldn't be as good as the first one, but it is. Yeah. It works.
Okay.
But Ice Cube's in that, and at one point his office is basically a giant cube of ice. Well, it's not ice; it's glass, but it looks like an ice cube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really recommend that film.
Okay. But yeah, that's my 5. Number 5.
Right, my number 5. It's semi-funny you mentioned a DVD thing for Three Kings. This wasn't. It was actually the sequel to this. That was my first ever DVD. I actually got given it as a present for Christmas.
Okay.
The sequel DVD to this. And I didn't own a DVD player, and I remember it was my only DVD for about 2-3 years, and I could only watch it on my computer. and it was literally just sat in front. Do you remember back in the days where you'd have a console unit sat in front of it, and that was the only time I'd be able to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my film next is another 1999 film. So apparently I like the end of the 90s.
Well, I think Three Kings was 1999, I think. Yeah.
The Mummy.
Yes, yeah. That was
I started rewatching it, and I was like, we put it on at like 10 o'clock in the evening once because it was on the channel. I was like, let's rewatch this another day when we're like, because I forgot how good it was. It's just so good.
Yeah, The Mummy is. I don't think I could ever watch it unless it was a Sunday afternoon. It's a very Sunday afternoon film to watch.
It's one of those films that for our generation, for some reason, has got a place in our hearts.
Yeah, yeah.
It was terrifying. I remember being scared of the scarab beetles.
Yeah.
And when his mouth opens up when the cat's there and he like hisses and then he darts away.
Well, the ride at Universal Studios, like the Mummy ride is a really good ride. But you do go into the mouth in that, and there's a bit in it where the flames come up, and I tell you what, it was really hot.
Really?
Like, it wasn't like, the flames are in the distance, but you could really feel the heat when you went near them and come back down. But yeah, The Mummy was a good ride and a good film.
It was a great film. Yeah. It's a shame. Like, I'm really, really glad that Brendan Fraser had this like renaissance and comeback. I've not watched The Whale yet, so I'm just so happy for him because he was a great actor for our generation.
See, I think he was his first. Well, see, I mean, I suppose that's not. I mean, The Mummy is it's a good film, but it's not Oscar worthy, is it?
No.
But like Brendan Fraser to me in Scrubs, like when he plays
every time I watch the second episode he's in.
Yeah, when he comes back, doesn't he? He's got cancer, and then when Dr. Cox was like talking, it's like you don't realise that it's at his funeral. Like he's really good in that, and you think, I wonder why he sort of disappeared for all them years, and then
he got blacklisted, I think, from Hollywood for calling out a producer.
Really?
Sexual abuse, from what
really?
I remember, yeah.
That's sad, isn't it?
So that's why it was such a big deal, him winning the Oscar like he did.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting something there, but I'm fairly certain it's because that was the reason he was blacklisted from Hollywood.
Okay.
But yeah, phenomenal actor. Even, I'll be honest, even back in the days, I enjoyed Looney Tunes back in action.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah. He plays Brendan Fraser's stunt double.
What does he?
Which I really enjoy. But yeah, no, The Mummy, I'm sure everyone listening to this knows the plot of it and knows about it. It's just a great film. And if you don't know the plot or the film, I'm not going to explain it, just go watch it, because it's about the mummy and them uncovering an expedition or the tomb, and that's
Emotep, wasn't it? I like his what's his little mate, the one that like abandons him. Benny, that's it. Yeah, when he's when he's the French Foreign Legion.
I can't remember what they're called, but the ones
Mujahideen, is it Mujahideen? Yeah, the ones that like the
Mujahideen's Dune.
Dune. No, Mujahideen were like, I mean, they're not. They're like Afghanistan and things. They're like freedom fighters. No. I don't know if they are real, but I don't know if that's what they were called in that.
Those guys with tattoos all over their face.
Yeah,
they were so good.
Yeah.
Badass. Great film.
Very good.
That's my number 4.
So for my number 4, I've gone with American History X.
Again, never seen it, but
yeah, very good. It's a film I've not seen in years. It's quite a tough watch, if that makes sense, because it's not. Yeah, it's not a nice film. It's very violent. Nazis? Yeah, so it's got. I should have researched the guy. It's Edward Norton.
Yeah,
he's the main character, and he's like, so he's basically grown up around a dad who's like really racist and stuff like that. So he sort of obviously sees what his dad, and then he becomes a neo-Nazi, and he basically gets he has a. Does he have a younger brother or he has a son? I can't remember. That is obviously starting to form views and stuff on his views onto him, like his dad did onto him. But you sort of don't know that at the beginning. It sort of skips back to see how he becomes how he is.
Oh, okay.
So you don't know at the beginning that his dad was like that. But he gets sent to prison because he basically he does. I always remember. This is the bit that I remember from the film is. I'm sure it's a black guy, and he basically gets him to open his mouth, puts his mouth on a curb, stomps on his head.
Scene being famously like unwatchable for some people. It's difficult.
It was awful. So he goes into prison, and then he gets put with a black prisoner and he sort of formed this sort of relationship and a friendship, and sort of he completely turns his life around. And he comes out
sort of redemption.
But then he comes out of prison and I can't remember if it's his son or his younger brother. he's starting to hang around with the neo-Nazis, and he's like, no, I don't. You know what I mean? He's kind of turned his life around, but yeah, really good film. Really,
Might have to go down and watch.
To be honest, yeah,
I struggle to watch like films with quite deep and sensible.
Yeah,
Just because, like, for me personally, I 100% understand why people watch them. But when I watch a film, I want to be taken away from reality and the shit going on with the world currently. Because, let's be honest, 1999, or whenever that one came out, I think it was 98 actually.
Yeah.
American History X. That's still a thing going on.
Yeah.
We're like, what, coming up to 30 years after that. So I don't watch films to be reminded of how shit the world is.
Yeah.
I want to be taken away and
cheered up.
Cheered up about it.
Yeah, it is like, say, it's one of them films that you have to be in the mood to watch, if that makes sense. It's a difficult film, so yeah, that's my number 4.
Very nice. Right, number 3 is so I'm reading my list and I've forgotten what I wrote. Jurassic Park.
See, I was in 2 minds as to put that. I've not put it, but yeah.
When did that come out? 95, 94, maybe even 93.
See,
my knowledge is going.
Out of the Jurassic Parks, my favourite's the second one.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
I prefer the second one.
What,
Vince Vaughn.
Where a girl does
Vince Vaughn.
acrobatics and kicks a velociraptor in the face.
Yeah. And I like it when they all come on the island with all the jeeps that have the sideway doors. And I saw
Jurassic Park 2 is Godzilla.
No, it's not Godzilla.
What happens at the end?
Well, I know, but that's not. Yeah, but it's not as big as Godzilla. King Kong.
They literally go to an island, take a monster, and oh shit, it's suddenly let loose in New York.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
I don't know whether Michael Crichton wrote the sequel or whether it's an original story. He's the one who wrote Jurassic Park. But yeah, Jurassic Park. I realised how much it's one of my favourite films when this is a 100% true story. I went to go watch Jurassic World in 2015.
That's the first one of the new ones, wasn't it? Yeah,
because they're doing a new series as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, been announced. But anyway, Chris Pratt. And there's a scene near the beginning before you know it's all going to go to shit.
Yeah.
But the gates are there, and they're on this monorail going in, and the gates are there, the famous gates.
Yeah.
And the music starts playing, and the gates open up, and I genuinely started crying.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh my God, this has got a nostalgic place in my heart that I didn't realise was there.
We should go to Universal Studios because there's a Jurassic Park ride.
I'll be in tears.
And yeah, like, that is playing the music.
It opened up something I didn't know was there.
Yeah, it's a water ride. It was really good.
Be a water ride if I went on it. But yeah, no, it's a great film. Like, it's terrifying for a kids' film, really. It is a kids' film, but it's still terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, just every sequence, and it still holds up. If you watch those dinosaurs now, it still holds up CGI wise because they use like models and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. Love it.
I don't like any of the new ones. I think they're all shit.
See, I've not watched the latest one because the last one annoyed me.
Yeah.
Or not the last one. Jurassic Park Dominion, is it? No, not Dominion. The one where Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one where the park's destroyed due to a volcano, and then
that happens in the first one? Of the new ones, the park gets destroyed there, doesn't it?
No, in the volcano. In the second one, that happens.
Oh, okay.
They go back and they have to save as many dinosaurs as possible.
Yeah.
And they bring them back, and then it's in the house of
it's
Hammond's. Not Richard Hammond.
Richard Attenborough.
Well, it's Richard Attenborough. John Hammond.
Yeah. No.
John Hammond?
No, Richard Attenborough.
Yes, Richard Attenborough plays him, but he's obviously dead now.
Yeah, it's his son or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically they go back to that house, and then it becomes a horror film in a house, isn't it? And I didn't like that.
No.
So I've not watched the latest ones.
Because in the newest ones, don't they bring back
Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Laura Linney?
I think
it's
so.
Not Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well,
He's sexist.
Well, in the second one, and obviously I know we're talking about the first one, but the second one, like I remember watching it a few years ago and then realising that Vince Vaughn was in it.
Yeah.
Randomly, I've watched that film so many times and never noticed him in it. If that made noticed it was him, but yeah, no.
But no, Jurassic Park is my number 3. I love it.
So my number 3 is The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, I'm going to be honest here. Never watched it.
Never watched The Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
It's like one of IMDb's top 10 films.
I'm trying to make my way through the top 100 films all the time.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to do that.
And are you not starting at the top or are you starting at the bottom?
I do it randomly.
How do you?
Depending on what's available at when.
Oh, okay. See, I'm looking at mine and I reckon all of mine are in. No, maybe not. Three Kings isn't.
American History X is.
Yeah, I think the other two would be as well.
Hey, it's a personal top 5. Remember, I don't watch films to be reminded of the shit in the world, which is people going to prison and being raped and then having to crawl through a ton of this shit to get escape.
Are you sure you've not seen it?
I know a lot of films plots.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, you could watch Family Guy or The Simpsons, and there's like a version of a lot of these films.
Yeah, I know they do a version in Family Guy where he's like fingering the hole, isn't he?
Yeah, it gets bigger. Yeah. That poster, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just that it's the bum, I think, that.
Yeah. Or is that? No, I think. Oh, yeah, actually, no, that is on, because there's. What's the other one? Green Mile as well, which is similar.
I've watched that once, but never again.
That's a good one. That was one I was debating to put in, but yeah, no, Shawshank Redemption. I think it's like a bit of a cool classic film. Again, not something I've seen in a while, but with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you've kind of described it. Somebody gets raped, but yeah, he goes to prison for a crime he's not committed. But it's like back in the 1920s, 30s, I think.
Okay. Didn't know it was set back then.
Yeah, it's set quite a while ago.
Is it Morgan Freeman who goes to prison for a crime he's not committed?
No, Morgan Freeman's already in prison.
Okay.
Tim Robbins comes in and is like, I'm going to escape, and Morgan Freeman's like, well, you're crazy, but then kind of helps him. And it's over time, he basically tunnels this wall, tunnels through this thing over years kind of thing. He's like very patient with it and methodical, and yeah, and then he has an agreement. Morgan Freeman there was somebody else that gets released from prison. And this guy, he's been in prison all his life. He got sentenced when he was 20 or something, or 18, and he's like 70, 80, and he gets released, and he's like, he don't want to go out. He's like, that's all he's known is prison life. He don't want to go. And they sort of put him to work at this shop, and he's struggling to get into society, and he ends up sort of hanging himself. And then Morgan Freeman, again, he's been in prison a long time, gets released and goes to work at the same shop. But yeah, they sort of have this thing where they're going to meet on this hill with this money. Yeah, it's a very good film.
Yeah, I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah,
I think it is like the second or third highest rated film of all time.
Yeah, it's such a good film. But again, like Morgan Freeman has been in lots of stuff. Tim Robbins, not so much.
No.
Like,
do you know the only other film that I could tell you about Tim Robbins? Oh my god, what's it called? Shit Brick.
What, another old
Team America?
Oh, okay.
Because they parody him in the puppets.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's the only person I know Tim Robbins.
Oh, remind me, I've got another Brendan Fraser film. Actually, I'm just going to say it now. It was one that I randomly saw come up. Like, I think it was on YouTube's. No, it wasn't George of the Jungle. But it's, again, I can't remember what it's called. But it's got Christopher Walken in it, and it's basically Christopher Walken and his wife. It's set in like the 1950s. He's like a proper one that they're called preppers. So he's built a big nuclear fallout shelter and everything. Yeah. And anyway, this plane comes and crashes on the house. I think so he's like, he thinks the nuclear war started. So him and his wife go under, and he's prepared like food, drink, everything. And she's pregnant at the time, so she has Brendan Fraser. So then it's set like 25 years later.
She has Brendan Fraser, like he's the actor is physically born from her.
No, not the actor's physically born from it. No, but yeah, she has a child, and obviously Brendan Fraser's the son. So
Does he play the child?
No, he doesn't play the child. No, that's someone else that plays the child.
What about the baby?
Yeah, he does play the baby actually. Then they get someone else for the child, and he comes back as Brendan Fraser. But yeah, and he gets to 25.
How long's the gap between him coming back? So the child goes to school, comes back, and it's Brendan Fraser with a backpack.
Yeah, it's a montage. It's a
Am I being
classic 90s montage. No, I've got an answer for a question for you, Mike. Yeah, and then he's like, I think then they realise
from Brendan Fraser a bit.
Yeah, and then they realise that obviously it's not been the end of the world, and Brendan Fraser obviously goes out, but he's ever lived in a bunker, and then he falls in love, and yeah. But I'll try and find out what it's called and send it. A really good film.
Intrigued.
Very good film.
Intrigued.
But yeah, so is it mine or yours?
It's mine, number 2.
Yeah,
and you might find this one absolutely bizarre. A Goofy movie.
Yeah, I do find that bizarre.
I love it, or loved it, and I watched it with George. years ago I did my top 5 childhood films, and it was on that list. And when I did that list, I rewatched a lot of the films, and I still enjoyed it. It holds up, it's fun, it's got a good moral, and I think I enjoyed it. So as a kid, you watch it from the perspective... Have you watched it?
No.
Basically, it doesn't really follow Goofy as much. It follows his son, Max. And Max, the beginning sequence, he's in love with this girl, Roxanne, sings a song about her, yada yada. And he does this whole like sequence to try and impress her, and it works. He's like in trouble for it, because he basically takes over school assembly and everything. But it works. However, Goofy hears about the detention, thinks he's losing his son. I think the only way to sort of keep his son out of trouble and not going to prison and stuff like that is to take him on an adventure over the whole of the summer holidays, just a camping trip, the two of them on the open road, just to be with his son.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Max had just been invited to a party to watch this guy called Pow or something, I can't remember the name, perform his big concert and everything. But obviously, Max can't go because he's having to go on this trip with Goofy. And it's just like the realisation of them coming together. Like, as a kid, you watch it from Max's perspective of being pissed off with his dad for taking away from his kid. And then, as now, I watch it, it's like, that's just a dad just trying to form sort of memories with his son.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it's really quite good. Like, it is silly, it is stupid, but the story behind it, when you actually think about it, is just really nice.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, like I said, an odd choice, but when I rewatched it, I watched it from a dad's perspective, and I was like, I'm seeing Goofy's side here now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Very good.
Bit of a different one, a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, very, very different. To be honest, when you were saying about before we did the podcast about, well, in case we have any films that
I was like, you've gone very serious.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
very, like I said when I talked about, I like the fantasy world and being taken away from reality. I don't want to hear about shit and true stories and stuff like that.
Oh, that leads me right into my number 2 choice
of
Saving Private Ryan.
I've seen that at least. I've seen it.
That's definitely not it's not a cheery up film. I suppose towards the end when they do Save Private Ryan, but yeah.
Is it? How many people have to die on the journey?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do die, including, well, spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen it. But yeah, Tom Hanks dies at the end, like saving.
Vin Diesel dies.
Yeah, another one, another film where like Vin Diesel's only a small sort of role in it.
Blown up, doesn't he?
I think he gets shot by a sniper or something. I think early. But yeah, I mean that opening scene, like
it's harrowing.
Yeah,
harrowing.
Yeah, but it
so like the guy trying to get his guts back into him.
Yeah, and then somebody just like finds his leg gets blown off or a hand, and this guy just picks it up and puts it in his backpack and things. But I suppose
it's all shell shock and stuff like that. Isn't it?
But that's what it would have been like. Like it's not like these 1960s war films where people just you've been shot, you've got a bit of red on you, and then you die. Like it's unfortunately it was horrific with that body parts being blown off, and I think they captured it really well. That
it's the most realistic version of that scene from Rob.
And especially back then as well, because I would have thought that's probably one of the most before that kind of, because now I mean you do see a lot of films where they're not afraid to have somebody's arm blow off, and but back then I don't think it was like that. But yeah, obviously for me I do like my war films as well. So
so this sort of realistic portrayal of what war was like, it wasn't glamorized or anything like that.
No. But yeah, there's a couple of. I'm trying to think who else is. I think some of the actors in it.
Matt Damon, obviously.
Yeah, Matt Damon plays Private Ryan, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks, and then I forgot what his name is. There's another guy. No, I can't remember anyway. But yeah, there's a scene in that which I always found really difficult to watch, and I sometimes do fast forward it. But so when they sort of form this little band to go and get Private Ryan, there's a guy who's like basically a typist, and they're like they need an extra man, so they send him, and he's like, I'm only a typist, you know what I mean? I'm not for frontline infantry, but anyway, so he goes, and they end up capturing this German outpost, and there's a German soldier there, and they were going to shoot him, but this guy's like, no, let him go. So they said, right, we need to walk to our lines and go and surrender because we can't surrender, we can't like take your surrender. So when this German guy walks off, and he's like, they're all sort of like kicking him and like, yeah. Anyway, he goes to the bit where they're saving Private Ryan, and they're sort of thinking against this. They've got to hold this bridge. Anyway, he then comes back, this German guy that they thought thingy, and this guy's like obviously sees him, and he's in this house. And there's another American soldier, and this German soldier basically comes, and they're having a fight with a knife, and he's basically stabbing this American soldier, and the bit of a weedy, scared guy, he's like basically watches it and doesn't do anything because he's like just petrified.
Yeah.
And then the German guy just sort of walks past him and comes out, and later on in the film he shoots the thing in the eye. But yeah, no, good.
It is a great film. I've not watched it in years, but yeah, great film.
Really good film. But yeah, so another cheery one from me for my number 2.
Did it definitely come out in 2000? Yeah,
I think it was 99 again as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was definitely.
I've got a memory of it being later.
Yeah. I did, when I was doing my research,
Yeah,
I
98.
did. No, 98. I did research 90s films just to give me a bit of inspiration. So, yeah. But yeah.
Right. So, before we move on to our top films of the 90s, honourable mentions. I've got one.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
Although, what was the film? I literally just had it in my head. I've just thought about it, but I can't remember it now. It's gone, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Honourable mentions. My honourable mention is Cruel Jaws.
Oh, is this the one that you keep trying to watch?
Like 94, I believe.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realise it was. I thought it was like a newer film.
7. It came out in the 90s, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm just going to say it because I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It's shit, but we will be reviewing that film together. I'm going to get Charlie to watch it.
I don't need to watch it.
I might come around and watch it with him.
Yeah, I think
we'll do the review straight afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we'll do a little record of us watching it, so you have some of the like, oh my god moments from Charlie,
or
what the fuck moments, and then we'll do a review straight afterwards.
Okay, that sounds good.
My honourable mention. It's not great, so it can't be on any top 5 list ever that I made for the sort of like the best films.
Oh, okay.
In terms of enjoyability.
Yeah. One other cheer on from me. Schindler's List.
Why didn't it make any top ones? Just out of interest. It's a good choice and it's a great film, so that's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think because I've watched it maybe twice. And I don't think I could bring myself to watch it again because it's so sad.
Yeah,
it's a horrible, uncomfortable film to watch. It's a film that I think everybody should watch because it's really important, and especially obviously with the Holocaust and things, and obviously showing that not all Germans were bad, and obviously what Oskar Schindler did and things. But yeah, like it's not like you say. You watch films to sort of take away and things, and I know some of the films that I've put on there are not particularly cheery films.
What's your number one cheery?
Pardon?
Is your number one cheer?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. More so than the one I picked anyway, but yeah, it's definitely it was. I was debating, to be honest, to take American History X off. But yeah, I mean, this one is purely based on a true story. I know Saving Private Ryan has got World War II, but I don't think that's...
No, it's not a true story.
Yeah, and the other two aren't, so... but yeah.
The only reason is because it's too harrowing to watch again.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like the reasons. Right, my number one. It's a film that if you were born in the 90s or 80s like I was, but only briefly.
The end of the 80s.
You wouldn't have watched when it came out or have a VHS of it. Everyone's got fond memories of it, and it's Toy Story.
Do you know what? That never even crossed my mind, Toy Story.
Did it not?
I think if it had done, I would have put it in mine.
Yeah. It's a great film, like. If anyone... I said this about The Mummy, like, if you've not watched it, then what are you doing with your life? But yeah, somehow we described a lot of the plots of these more famous films and that, but with Toy Story, honestly, if you've not watched it, what are you doing with your life? Toys come to life. That's basically it. What else do you need to know?
Yeah.
But for our generation, it was like, I believe, one of the first CGI films made, like feature-length films made.
Was it
Pixar? Yeah. And it's just phenomenal. Like, even now, like, I remember watching Toy Story 3 and I was crying in the cinema at it when I thought it was all going to be incinerated.
Yeah, that was a sad
wasn't
part.
it?
Yeah.
But it's just, I think that everyone got those memories of playing with the toys, and it's a charming film. There's nothing not to like about it.
I've actually got, I don't know where it's gone actually. I'll have to have a look. Lauren bought me a Buzz Lightyear for a birthday. It was like my 26th birthday or something, like like them with all the buttons and everything.
Nice.
I think it had like Andy written on the bottom and stuff.
Cool.
But another one of your top 5 films that I've been on a ride for at Disneyland this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a water. What was it? It was like a laser.
Oh yes,
laser one.
Disneyland Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, don't really need to talk about it that much. Like, it's weird when you got these films that are set, like,
everybody kind of knows them, don't they?
And everyone would agree, or understand why you got it on the top 5. You don't have to justify it.
No.
I feel like Toy Story is that one like Goofy movie I have to justify, and I think I sold it. But Toy Story, you don't need to justify it.
No,
it's a great film.
Yeah.
The animation doesn't hold up. It's difficult to watch now. We'll say that, but it's still great.
Yeah. Tom Hanks again.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Thingy Allen.
Tim Allen.
Yeah, Tim Allen. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anyone else.
They had Bonnie Hunt. Bonnie Hunt. She plays Little Bo Peep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's her from Twister, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're
doing another one of them actually.
Yeah, Twisters.
Oh, another good 90s film, which I've also been on a ride
90s.
for. Yeah, Twister. Yeah.
That's good.
But very good.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, my number 1 is Toy Story. Enough said.
Yeah. So my number 1, it's still cheerier than the films that I picked, is Goodfellas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's probably, if I was to do a top 5 of my best ever films, that would be up there.
Oh really?
With it. Yeah, I do really like it. Like again,
I think Toy Story would be up there, my top 5.
Top 5 ever films. Yeah, yeah, really good film, like gangster film for those who not have watched it. It's kind of a bit. I mean, there's a lot of Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro.
Joe Pesci, do you mean?
Yeah, Joe Pesci, that's the one. Robert De Niro. I cannot remember the name of the main guy. Ray Lolita. Yeah, that's the one. I've recently, yeah. But yeah, a lot of them are in a lot of gangster films like Casino and Godfather. A lot of them are in thingy. But
if you used to say a gangster film, let's just cast people. You mention at least one person from this film.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose the only person it wasn't missing was Al Pacino. So it's like, or not Brendan Lawrence, Brendan, the Godfather, the original. What's his name?
Brendan.
No, Brendan. What's the one that played?
Do you mean? So this is the worst thing. Are you on about the guy?
Yeah, he played the Godfather.
I was trying to think of his name recently. I couldn't remember his name. It really escaped me.
Yeah. Anyway, him. He's not. Well, he's not in it. I don't know.
I
why
Google
you
it. You Google it the other day, but I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, it'll cut thing in a minute. But yeah, obviously, I don't know why I'm talking about him. He's not in it.
But I won't actually cast him as like gangster because he's a weird guy.
I forgot Brendan in my head. Marlon Brando.
Yeah, Brando, yeah.
Marlon Brando, that's the one. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about him. He's not even in this film. But yeah, no, really good film. For those who have not seen it, it's basically a young lad. I think he's Irish, half Italian. And as a young lad starts getting involved, like doing little jobs for the mob, like parking the cars and stuff, and then sort of works his way up. But it sort of follows him growing up and then his family, like meeting his girlfriend and then getting married and having kids and... Yeah, to the point where he... But again, Goodfellas is all based on a true story.
Yeah.
So the guy that Ray Lolita plays, like, is, basically at the end, he... Again,
is American History X based on a true story?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Just because it is, we've got a lot of based on
true stories, yeah. Maybe 90's was a film for based on true stories. Yeah.
Type film.
But yeah, like, the scene... One of my favourite scenes is where they go into the nightclub and the... basically going through the back door and it's just the camera sort of following them and he's giving money tipping to people, and I think it's his wife girlfriend at the time who's sort of like narrating it, and then they go and, you know what I mean, there's no table there, but then he clicks his fingers and table appears and all these people are coming over and sort of saying it like hello to him, and very good film. Have you say you've seen it? Yeah.
Years and years ago, though.
Yeah.
I can't remember most of the plot, if I'm honest.
Okay. No, it's not one I've watched for a while, but yeah. But no, that's my number 1.
Very nice.
So yeah,
enjoyed.
Good choices.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to go away and watch American History X.
Yeah, I think I might. I've not watched it in a while.
You sold me on that one.
Yeah.
You're going to go away and watch a Goofy movie?
I'm probably going to say no. I might watch a trailer for it to see if I remember.
Oh, that won't sell you.
Will it not?
It's crazy and zany and stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try if you'll give it an American History.
It's a very short film. It's only like 70 minutes.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like I said, I think I went into it, when I rewatched it, I'd only just had George, so I went into it with brand new. Like I said, it was part of my top 5 childhood films, and I remember loving it as a kid, watching it loads. Yeah. And then when I rewatched it, it had this new feeling for me of why I liked it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to justify it being at number 2. It should have been lower, but still.
Very good. But yeah, top 5 90s films. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
From MACRL.
From MACRL.
Mike and Charlie ranking lists.
Yeah.
I went to try and get an acronym in there.
Do you reckon we'll get like a silhouette of a fish with MACRL written on it, and we could have it as like stickers to the cars and stuff?
Oh, let's do that.
With small writing underneath.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. But no.
I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks for humouring me with it.
No problem. And yeah, thank you for listening. And as always, on our socials, give us a comment, like.
Let us know your top fives.
Yeah.
And if there's any top fives that you want to hear us do, then let us know. Let's try and keep it a bit generic, because if Charlie had his way, we'd be doing top 5 soldiers from World War II.
Yeah, top five wars. Yeah, but no, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
God, that's harrowing, isn't it?
Yeah,
what's your favourite war of all time?
That made me think of there's an episode in Family Guy where I think they go back to World War One and Stewie and Brian or whatever, and I think they're playing some. What it's like? Why does everyone keep calling this World War One? Is it World War Two?
I don't think I remember it being from Family Guy, but I've heard that joke sort of thing before.
Yeah, it's quite funny. But no, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. I panicked halfway through then. I thought I couldn't see my light.
Oh, really? That's good. Yeah, mine's still.